Welcome to the Jukebox. I'm your host, Brandon. It is a beautiful day outside. As you can see, I am out here. I just left the gym, so pardon me if I look a little crazy. But today I will be reviewing the album Astroworld by Travis Scott. And first off, I'm going to rate this album about a solid 8.5. Like, this is a good ass album. And what makes it so good, every song is a quality song. Not only that, there's not really any there's maybe like two that I feel like are less significant than others. Not necessarily skips, but I just think that they're a little less significant just because some of the songs are so damn good, it's hard to pass that up. So, with all that being said, first time I heard the album, I was actually at McDonald's, hence the McDonald's shirt I'm wearing just for this episode. But I was there closing, and the album had just dropped, so me and Cam, who you've seen on a couple episodes before this, we was listening to the album. We was like, hey, like, this is a good album so far. And then he was listening to it regularly. I was listening to it on YouTube at the time, so the songs weren't coming in order. So I was just listening to the songs, and I was like, hey, like, when you get to this song fire. And he was like, hey, when you get to this song is fire. So we was just like enjoying our time. And I was like, I remember the first time I heard No Bystander, I was like, okay. But just me talking about every song, going straight into it, might as well just jump straight into the song by song. First song is Stargazing. And Stargazing, I feel like, is a very, very solid, especially the lead song. It was one of the, I think there's a trailer released for the album. And that was like the song playing in the background. It was like him and it was like in like a shopping cart or something like that. And it was like a bunch of like planet looking things. I don't know, it was very astronomical looking. And hence why he says this right here is astronomical in the song. So, Stargazing is a solid intro, a great song, I feel like. And my only issue with the song has nothing to do with the song itself. I had it as my alarm when I would wake up and go to my other job at the warehouse. I wake up at like 4 in the morning. So every single morning I would hear that doom, 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 doom. I'm like, God damn it. And today's about to be a long ass day ahead of me. So I low key, I don't feel the same about the songs I used to. I used to love the song. Now when I hear it, it's like, it brings back bad memories. But the song is fire itself. Next song is Carousel featuring Frank Ocean, and that's what makes the song so huge to me. Was when I first heard it, I was like, oh shit, is that Frank Ocean? I was like, where this nigga been at? So it was like, it was a big deal to hear Frank Ocean on the song, especially with Travis Scott. And it was unexpected, as when I heard it, there was no features listed next to the songs, which I'm gonna explain a couple times throughout this. The Carousel is a solid song as well. I remember when I went to go see Travis Scott live. I went to the tour, and when he performed Carousel, I watched him go like up on the ride while he's performing. He's performing this song, and I was like, the first song he did it to, and I was like, hey, this shit is fire. And literal fire was shooting from the stage while he was doing it. Sickle Mode is the next song, which is probably the biggest hit on there. Sickle Mode certified banger. I mean, you can say what you want. The internet might have did a lot with it just because you hear it all the time. You probably heard it on the radio a lot. But let's take a song for what it is. Let's take away how many times you've heard the song. Sickle Mode's a banger. And it's three songs in one, featuring Drake. Like, and all three of them were full songs that are out there somewhere on somebody's flash drive. They're all full songs, and each one, in my opinion, just as good as the other. I mean, the first one is just like a solid Drake song. Sun is down, freezing cold. Like, that's just Drake. Then the second one, made this here with all that ice on in the booth. You're like, okay, like this some real flame shit. And on the third one is Drake and Travis Scott together. The Out Like a Light, that one. So, like I said, I feel like they did their thing with Sickle Mode. And the video is even better if you've never seen the video. It's one of my favorite music videos. It's because, like, the production behind it. And that's my thing about Travis Scott. Like, no matter how you feel about him, I don't think he's the most lyrical rapper in the world. I'm a fan of lyrical rap, yes. I don't think he's the most lyrical rap, but I appreciate him for what he has. And what I think he has is genius level production. Between him and Mike Dean, there's always some genius level production on their projects. So, I love to hear his albums, and that's why when this one dropped, I was very excited to hear it. Sickle Mode is one of the most standalone songs on there. R.I.P. Screw is a great song in my opinion. I think it's one of the more slept on ones. Not a lot of people play it as much. And I think what makes R.I.P. Screw so great is it's so low key. It's such like a laid back type of song. You can play the song in the background. I think this is a good skating rink song. Like, if you were skating and the song is playing, it's just very like peaceful. It's very serene. Stop Trying to Be God is the next song. I like Stop Trying to Be God a lot. Like, when I first heard it, it was one of my favorites. I don't really know why. It's just, I've always liked Stop Trying to Be God. And I think I just like the message behind it. The video was kind of weird to me. I wasn't a big fan of the video. I was like, this is kind of strange. It was like, hell, like, just up as God. It was weird. But No Bystanders is the next one. And like I said, when I first heard No Bystanders, I was so hyped. I had the Juice WRLD intro. The party never ends. And when you hear Travis Scott come in with the fuck the club up, fuck the club up. It's like it's real fucking hype. And I was always a fan of this song. This is one of my favorites. Probably my favorite or my second favorite on this album. But it's definitely up there. And this is my second. So I know what my number one is, but it's not next. Skeletons featuring The Weeknd was a great song. This is probably the first or second song I originally heard. Like I said, I listened to it on YouTube, so it was out of order. But the first song, I think Skeletons was the first song I heard, and I was like, this is smooth. And The Weeknd did his thing. I'm not the biggest Weeknd fan, I'll admit that. But The Weeknd did his thing on the song. Skeletons came in, and it wouldn't have been the same without him. Wake Up also featuring with the words. The Weeknd is also in the next song, Wake Up. I don't know why that was a tongue twister for me. It shouldn't have been. But Wake Up featuring The Weeknd was the next song, and Wake Up is probably my favorite song on here. I just like the whole production aspect, him and Travis Scott going back and forth. And I think vocally, Travis Scott and The Weeknd vocally, I don't know why, but they work really, really well together. And this goes back to like Rodeo, like their song Pray for Love. Like, they work really well together, and I really don't know why. They could do a whole album, and I feel like it would do numbers. Aside from their name, they just work really well together. 5% Tint is the next song. Who's that creeping through my window? I was like, okay, Travis, see with the. I like the beat on 5% Tint, but the song's cool. It's not one I'm like always bumping, but like when 5% Tint comes on, I'm definitely gonna listen to it. NC-17 featuring 21 Savage. I like NC-17. Also, it's kind of like 5% Tint to me. Like, this is like the grayer area of the album, in my opinion. Like I said, the whole thing is fire, but this is like, if I had to pick like a little gray area to where it's like, it would be this like 2-song stretch. Damn, they're 3, because the next one looks like it is Astro Thunder. Seems like I live a little distant, yeah. I like Astro Thunder, but it's real low key. It feels kind of short too. It kind of feels like, it feels more like a leak. Like, it feels like it was a snippet or something that you heard, and I was like, okay, like I see what you're doing here. But it doesn't feel like I was given a full song, in my opinion. But I do like Astro Thunder, though. Yosemite is a great song. I don't know who I thought Nav was originally, but I didn't think it was Nav. And that was the big thing about this album. Since I have an Android phone, I downloaded it. So I still have the original version where Nav is like real quiet in the background. So I was like, so I still be bumping it. I think it's hilarious. But I still got the OG version. But I rock with Yosemite. When I first heard it, it was one of my favorite ones. It's just the vibe. It sounds a lot like Sold Out Dates by Gunna and Lil Baby. But I think it's like a good part 2, in my opinion. It's like, if you heard Sold Out Dates and you hear this, you're like, this feels like the more complete version. But it's also a certified banger. You can go ahead and start it right now. Put a stamp on it, just like that. Can't Say is the next song featuring Don Toliver, which became a much bigger song than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna be a hit like that. But like, everybody knows the song, but I didn't think it was gonna be as widely known as some of the other songs on this album were. But my thing is, originally, like I said, it didn't have the features next to it, so I didn't know it was Don Toliver. I think this was like the first I had heard, like first or second song I had heard from Don Toliver. So I wasn't too familiar on this guy, but I'm a big fan of Don Toliver now, and I need to do his album. I probably will do it really, really soon. But originally I thought it was Young Thug. Now he came in and did his thing on the song. I remember saying it. I was like, Young Thug did his thing on the song, and he was like, that's not Young Thug. And I was like, it's not. And he was like, no, that's Don Toliver. I was like, oh shit, I was wrong all this time. I was gonna give him all his props, and it wasn't even him. But I like Can't Say. Who What is the next song featuring Migos? Well, not all of them. I think it's just Quavo and Takeoff. Or Takeoff, I said. Takeoff's in it. Sorry, I don't remember it fully, but it's like, but Who What is a good song as well. I just listened to it recently, and it's kind of like, I don't even remember who the fuck was in it. That's on me. But I know some of the Migos in there, 2/3 of them. And I apologize if it looks like I'm spitting. I promise you I'm not. There's just a ray of sunlight right here, so you can see all the like dust particles and everything flying through the air. So I promise you I don't talk like Yosemite Sam. But Butterfly Effect is the next one, which was, I'm not gonna lie, I like Butterfly Effects, and since it was like one of the bigger hits, and it was like the one leading into this, like basically like the Goosebumps, oh, not Goosebumps, basically kind of like the Pick Up the Phone at the time, I mean, or like the Antidote. Like, if you hear this, normally when you hear the lead single, or even for me like 3005, when you hear the lead single, then you hear it on the album, you're like, I'm not gonna know if I'm gonna like it as much on the album. But when it came on, I was surprisingly like, hey, it's still a banger. If it fits right in, it wasn't like out of place. None of the songs I feel like were out of place on this album, and that's why that's the thing I like about Travis Scott albums. Each one is a moment in life. Each one is a period. Like a Rodeo song can damn near only fit on the Rodeo album. A Birds in the Trap song can only fit on that one. Days Before Rodeo can only fit on Days Before. Astroworld songs, like, you know it's Astroworld era when you hear it. And just because production-wise, vocal, like, there's just a lot of things he does that you can, it fits into the next one. And that's where I'm excited for Utopia, because I know it's going to be the same thing. But next song, second to last song, is Houston Fornication. And I liked Houston. When I first heard it, I was like, I really liked it. I had to go back and listen to it like 2 or 3 times just because, like, to really capture everything it was. But I really liked Houston Fornication. There's a lot, like I said, production-wise, everything in it. I like the flows he does too in this one. These are like different Travis Scott flows. And that's one thing I will mention about Travis Scott too when I was talking about he's not the most lyrical rapper. He's very, very good at coming up with unique flows and rides on every beat perfectly. I feel like when it comes to his own songs and features, if he's in the song, the way he rides the beat is incredible every single time. So Coffee Bean is the last song, which is a solid song. I do like Coffee Bean. I feel like there could have been another one to end it off on. I feel like it's not a strong ending just because it's such a low-key song. Almost like Astro Thunder is a very low-key one, very laid back. But it's... I still like Coffee Bean, but I feel like there should have been like a one that really pops and ends it. Sickle damn near could have ended it. It ends his concerts, so it damn near could have ended the album. But if I had to go with my favorites on here and my least favorites, if I had to go with my favorite song altogether, it's looking like Wake Up. No Bystanders is number 2. What's number 3 gonna be? Probably, at this point in my life, probably Yosemite. I really like that song. And I think everybody really likes that song. It's a radio hit. It's a banger. So, my least favorite on here, probably Astro Thunder. Just because, like I said, it was just so low-key. It didn't feel like a full song to me. It was just kind of felt like I'm just here in the moment. But if I had to go with my favorite hook on this album, it would be probably Wake Up. I really like the background vocals, the ad-libs. I like everything about Wake Up. It's very like, it's kind of like Wonderful by them. How like you can close your eyes and you feel like you're in a whole different environment. Like you feel like you're in like some like fantasy land. But I really like Wake Up. So that's probably my favorite hook. My favorite verse has got to be on Stargazing when the beat changes. Because he came in and started doing his thing on that one. My favorite beat on this album is the second part of Sickle Mode. It made this here with all that ice on it. That part, I really like the beat on that part. Or that or Yosemite. Yosemite has a really smooth beat too. My favorite feature on this album, definitely The Weeknd on Wake Up. The Weeknd on Wake Up was the best one. Or like I said, Takeoff had a good one on Who What. Don Toliver was good as well. There's a lot of options you could do for best feature. But for me, I'm giving it to The Weeknd. And where this ranks amongst his other albums, I think Astroworld's second best. And I think everybody has their own different opinions on where you rank each album. I think Rodeo is his best album. I think Astroworld is his second best. I think Days Before might be slightly better than Birds in the Trap to me. And here's the reason why. I think Rodeo is his most, like, you know, like when you put out like your first real album, it's like a lot went into it. And I think a lot went into that one. You can feel that he cared on that one. I feel like a lot more. And that was more like Travis Scott. I feel like the Travis Scott I know. Because when you like first hear Travis Scott, if you hear like his older music and you hear Rodeo, that's like top tier of what he was back then. Like that was like $sign Travis Scott era. Birds in the Trap, I feel like it's his most commercial album. I feel like that's the one that's most... Astroworld, you can argue for that too. But I feel like Birds is his most commercial, most mainstream one, where it felt a little less authentic. Not to say it wasn't, because I'm like knowing what Travis Scott was evolving into, it still fits. But I just feel like that if I had to pick, like, it's like this one feels like the more mainstream one, it would be Birds. And that's just judging on some of the songs that are on there. Goosebumps, Pick Up the Phone. It had a lot of hits that became like that. But Astroworld is probably my second best to me, just because I could tell a lot went into this one as well. I could tell like a lot of production was put behind this, and they literally said they were working on this album up until like the last hour, like literally up until the final hour. Like it released like they had just got Drake's verse like an hour before the album released, I think. Like they had just got that shit, so it felt like they were putting in work all up into it. And that's what I really appreciate. I really appreciate people that take the time out of their albums and show that they care. That's the type of things I like. Even if you're not the most, like I say, even if you're not the most lyrical rapper, if you're not the most talented singer, if I can feel your authenticity, I couldn't speak. I don't know what's going on with me right now. If I can feel your authenticity and I can feel your genuine care for your music, and I can tell you actually put time into it, I'm probably gonna like it, because it's art. I feel like art should be a reflection of you and your lifestyle, or just whatever image you're trying to portray. Art shouldn't necessarily be something that's like black and gray every single time. It's not just like, here's what it is, here's what you have to accept it for, that's it. That's not art. That's just that's me telling you what you need to enjoy. Art is abstract. It's something that can be portrayed in different ways to different people. You could hear a song like Goosebumps on Birds and Trap Sing Me Night, and when you hear Goosebumps, it was a hit, so a lot of people probably turn up to it. You can feel hype, but he said himself that he wrote that song in one of the darkest periods of his life, so I'm sure Goosebumps wasn't the happiest song to write. Just from where it came from, I'm sure it was something different, but it was interpreted a different way amongst other people, which is something I feel like you could enjoy. But let me know how you feel about Astroworld. Astroworld is a huge album. I think every song on it has like 100 million. I could be wrong about the number, but I think every song on it has like 100 million views on Spotify. Is it Spotify? There's a lot of views on this album is what I'm trying to say. This album was a huge success. In my opinion, it's going to go down as one of the biggest hip-hop albums, just because of what it's already done in such a short period of time and what it's going to do in the future. And I feel like this is like prime era Travis Scott. I feel like this is like him on top of the world. Astroworld drops, boom. Just the cherry on top. So let me know what your favorite Travis Scott album is. Let me know how you feel about Astroworld. What your favorite songs are, least favorites, anything like that. Anything you want to critique about the album or the show itself. Let me know how you... Let me know how you feel about the album. Let me know if you want me to listen to any other albums as well. I do take any requests. I'll try to get to any of them and all of them at some point in life. So let me know if you want me to hear a certain album. Let me know what your favorite album are. I'll try to listen to them, give my critique on them. Final thoughts, like I said, 8.5 for this album. Really excited to hear Utopia. And I think this is one of his top tier albums, and always excited to hear what he has next. So please leave a like, share to your friends, tell your friend to tell a friend, tell their grandmama to tell her daughter, to leave a like and subscribe as well. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, comment below. Let me know what you want to hear me critique next. And I do music as well. Or you can follow me on any channel, at Troy X Diamond. I got a wristband here somewhere. I'm getting the merchandise soon. But at Troy X Diamond, TROY X Diamond, DIAMOND. So just follow me on any social medias if you want. Like I said, I do music as well. Shoot, you can go critique my album. Let me know how you feel about it. And at some point I'll try to do it, or I'll have other people do it for me, since I don't want to be impartial to my own album or biased. But yeah, like I said, just let me know how you feel below, and I'll see y'all on the next episode of Jukebox.